Gal first. I want to hear from David, who joined us as well. If United sign De Jong, Timber, Darwin Nunez, and Pau Torres this summer, is that good quality to improve the Man United team?
Paulo Torres has been linked to a lot of teams lately. He looks like a good center back. I don't watch him every week. Timber, I don't know anything about him, so I'm gonna have to wait. De Jong, that would be a nice signing. Honestly, I would love to have De Jong at Arsenal, but obviously we're not gonna get that done. But you guys getting De Jong, that shows Ten Hag has massive pull. And the Nunez one is the one that I question. Where, first of all, is he going to come in to be a starter, or is he going to be coming in to be the potential replacement for Ronaldo when he leaves? And would he be willing to move for that price at this moment in time in his career to come in as a backup if he does end up playing as a backup?
So on that, in terms, that was what Dean spoke about that today, and the source kind of out of Portugal and everything sort of said it's what Man United want. The players up for the player to get to play with Ronaldo for a year for most attackers is gold dust, learning from him, etc.
At 37?
At 37, because he's still, again, he's helping him. Edison Cavani has recommended, fellow countryman, has told Darwin Nunez that it's the place for him to go as well. So I don't really think it's an issue for him in terms of 22 years of age, 32 goals this season, scored against a lot of the big boys in the Champions League. I don't think a year of being integrated into Man United's team, into the Premier League, would be too much of an issue. But what I want, I'm a bit like you, I'm still on the fence whether he's good enough. But I want the 22-year-old to come in. I want to test him. I want to see if he's got the arrogance and the belief and the ego to say, I'm going to keep Ronaldo out of the team. And then I want to see if he's playing better than Ronaldo and scoring more. I want to see what Ten Hag does. I almost want that test to happen at the club because that's what you need. That is what you need.
Ronaldo's going to be kept out of the team.
Because if he doesn't play much and he stunts his development and he ends up having a year where he barely plays, doesn't get a lot of confidence because he's not getting a lot of game time, and ends up ruining his confidence, your fans could turn on him, and it could turn into a situation where you look at him and you might consider him a flop.
Wait, a flop after 1 year? Like it's not like
a lot of people have considered players a flop after 1 year.
Yeah,
you're
talking
about people in spaces again.
No, look at Lukaku.
Yeah, but Lukaku's an established player who's been playing for flipping years. Darwin Nunez,
and it's even worse for a youngster.
Yeah, but
Lukaku. No. Egal. The reason Lukaku is completely different is because when Lukaku came in, it was said that this guy's the final. It's the final piece of the puzzle. He was £100 million, bloody, everything on top.
It is
right?
different.
If Nunez comes in and he's a young talent and he's behind Cristiano Ronaldo, bear that in mind. He's not behind some Cavani, no, Ronaldo. It's not the end of the world. He'll still get game time. It's like he's not going to play at all.
Because in that sense, Man City should never sign players because they'll ruin their confidence because they take a year.
You're not listening to what
team.
I'm saying.
No, I am listening to what you're
saying. You're signing one of the most young touted strikers that's currently playing in Portugal, telling him he's going to be a backup for a year. Where he's not going to get much game time.
Sorry, Egal,
look at the games. You view it as integrating him. I view it as hindering his development.
Stop a second. But this hindering development thing is nonsense. But he's not being signed as a backup. He's being signed as one of our first team players. We are going to be in the Europa League and the Premier League next year. And there's going to be, if we're successful, 50 plus games. He's going to get opportunity. He's not going to be sitting on the bench, not starting games week in, week out. He's going to get opportunities.
Ronaldo.
Sorry?
He's going to
Ronaldo at 37 with Europa League football. Hopefully staying.
He can't play 50 games.
He's not going to play
a Europa League striker now. You're paying $100 million for Europa League striker?
No, Egal. Sorry, KJ. Egal. What you're doing is very clever. It's good smoke. We're not paying 100 million anyway. It's more like 60 to 70 million. We're not buying Darwin Nunez to win us the Europa League in 1 year. We would be signing Darwin Nunez with the hope that under Ten Hag and the new direction we're trying to go in again for the umpteenth time, that he becomes our star striker for the future. That's what we're signing him for. So isolating Darwin Nunez's season to next year alone, being behind Ronaldo from the start of the campaign and how much he's costing is crazy. It's a bit like you guys. You guys are linked to Gabriel Jesus. You're not signing Gabriel Jesus to try and win the Europa League. You're just playing Eddie, and I could be negative with you. You've just signed Eddie and Kevin.
He's going to start.
Hang on a minute.
He's not going to be sitting behind Eddie Nketiah.
Okay, well, exactly. But you just give Eddie Nketiah $100,000 a week. That's going to stunt his development. Now you're getting Gabriel Jesus. Terrible signing.
Listen,
and it's going to increase that magic wage
there's a
bill
difference.
you're
There's a difference.
Terry,
don't you dare. Oh my God, you're comparing Eddie Nketiah and Darwin Nunez. Wow.
No.
Why are you signing him?
I'm looking at your knowledge. I'm looking at your knowledge. Egal, because you've got a player that you said on the last stream. You said it's worth the 100K because he's improved. He could develop.
And Darwin Nunez might not be worth it.
Let me finish speaking. He could go to the next level. The point I'm making is Darwin Nunez is the guy for the future at 22 years of age. So having a year where he's integrated and coming off from the bench sometimes, starting sometimes, isn't a problem for the future. It's the complete opposite way around. We're not paying an average player $100,000 a week to sit on the bench and rot that we're then not going to be able to sell. You're having to go at our business, but you're praising yours. That's a madness to me.
No. I honestly think there's a big question on several parts in this deal. One, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to want to play majority of the minutes, and he's not going to get much game time in the league, and you're not going to really get to embed him in as much as you want. Also, what is Ronaldo going to be leaving soon? Is this like an exit plan for Ronaldo? Two, KJ,
yes, he's got 1 year left. Yes.
Let me finish. Also, development of a player at this age, you can hinder his development if he comes into Manchester United and he does not perform to the level you want him to, and he ends up having a situation where Ronaldo should have started, and people started saying, "Why are we even playing?"
But then even if he was a starter, even if he's starting to be a starter, he could still go through that same treatment. You're acting like because he's coming in as a backup player. That's the reason why he's going to get criticized. Sorry, Danny, I've been waiting to speak for how long, innit? Yeah, if he comes in, yes, he will have games in the Europa League, in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and guess what? In the league as well, via the bench. Or guess what? Ronaldo has been injured this season, and who have we played for flipping striker? No one. So I don't even want Nunez. This is what I mean. I don't even want Darwin Nunez. But the logic you're coming with, I just don't believe.
So why are you arguing with me if you don't?
Wait. The reason why I'm arguing with you because it's like, come on, bro. You've got better football knowledge than this, bro. Like signing Manchester United have been so benign, so like scorned at for not signing players early enough, not signing players that have the ability to go up to a level, sign them before they go to a Aston Villa or they go to a Brighton. We get told that we should be doing that. So when we try and go do that, now being told we shouldn't be doing that. That's where I'm getting
I agree with you there. You should be signing some of these players and taking a punt on them. But he's not a punt player. He's a player that is ready to walk into majority of teams.
One sec. But the point is, that's because we're never going to agree on that. I think it just ends because it's just going back and forth. It ends on, if you use a perfect example as Camavinga, everyone would have said he walks into everyone's team. He wants to start straight away. He's 100%. Gone to Real Madrid. Yeah, he was ready. He was one of the biggest stars in Europe at the time when he was bought by Real Madrid, and people thought he was literally walking in to replace the aging Kroos, Modric, and even after that Champions League run where they got embarrassed by Chelsea and Chelsea went on to win the Champions League, the feeling was Camavinga was going to instantly walk into that centre mid spot to freshen it up. And this year, it hasn't been the case. He's been an impact bench player, and even if Nunez does do that for a year, it's not going to stunt his development. That's actually going to aid his development.
And also, should Nunez not sign for Real Madrid or Liverpool then?
Liverpool might start him.
Gal, your logic falls down when it comes to Liverpool. Look at Konate. Has Konate gone backwards this year because he didn't start all the games?
No.
End of conversation. So I think it's one of those things for me where this is a different take from Olu that says, Terry, how can you sit there with a straight face and call Egal out for stating facts? Nunez will not improve at United. Name me one player that has. Now that's a very different for me.
Terry,
let me respond. Just wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
What you've said there in the comments is very different to what Egal's saying. If Egal says no one should sign for Man United because they ruin all the players they sign, I'd get that logic a lot more because we have done that. So, Olu, I'm not going to disagree with you. I like a lot of the players we're linked with. I like Erik ten Hag. Am I optimistic that it's going to work? Yes. Do I think it's going to? I can't even say that out loud because we've failed so many times in the last 9 years. So I get where you're coming from with that one. There's no doubt about it. Yes, you were going to say something, Egal.
Konate there's two places he could play. There's two center back positions. There's one striker role. You're not going to play.
Darwin Nunez can play off the striker. He can play on the left as well.
Okay, so if you're going to use him in other roles, that's a different thing. But you're signing him to be a striker. That's my opinion.
And
we're signing him to be a striker. There's one striker role. There's one striker role. One second. You thought you got a checkmate situation with the Konate thing, which is incorrect because there's two center backs. There's two center backs, and he can play in either position.
Actually, no, there's actually one because Van Dijk's the other one.
What you're missing with this other situation is most likely you're signing him to be a striker, and if you're going to sign him as a striker, there's one striker already at your team who's one of the greatest players of all time, and he's not going to want to sit on the bench.
No. Egal, you're wrong. There's only one centre back per position.
Egal, I know what you're trying to do. I saw you waxing lyrical the other day because you're linked with Osimhen and Gabriel Jesus. By your own logic, you should be angry that you're doing that because one of them's going to suffer and it's going to foul and cause problems at the club. That's why I can't. I know what you're doing is cap, as in you don't believe what you're saying. You're saying it for smoke because when you're linked with, you've just signed Nketiah and you said that was good. You're linked with
Osimhen. You don't like it when I give Man United players smoke.
No, it's not about if you Man United players. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I'm not triggered in any way, shape, or form. I'm calm. I'm saying I'm seeing through you. You re-signed Eddie Nketiah, and you said it was a good move. You then celebrate that you're heavily linked to Osimhen and Gabriel Jesus and think you can sign them both.
I don't want Osimhen. I've never said I want him. What are you talking about?
The point is,
have I ever said on the stream I want Osimhen?
You and your Arsenal fans will sit there and celebrate that. But then when it comes to Man United signing, we've only got one striker. And we're going to sign a second striker. Suddenly, oh my God, United got too many strikers. They're all going to foul. It's nonsense. Your Franz Smokes are linked to a good quality player.
Again, also on top of that, Arsenal. How many Arsenal fans?
David.
I was going to say, how many Arsenal fans have sat there and been like, I'm happy that we're linked to signing Serge Gnabry again. Serge Gnabry is going to halt one of Bukayo Saka or Martinelli's progress. Your problem last season with Arsenal and why you fought towards the end of the season because all your young players like aged out. So if the thing was we just signed Nunez and then we just have Nunez at striker, it doesn't make sense.
David, that's why we know it's not nonsense. Because
that's different though.
You spoke about signing.
We're not signing. We don't have Gnabry, and we're not signing a youngster to mess up his thing. What they're doing. It's completely different.
No, it isn't. Guys, you're signing. The signing's different, but the scenario at the club is going to be the same. The difference is this. This is why it's not a problem to any football fan. And you're trying your best to throw smoke, but it doesn't work.
No, Ronaldo.
What football fans want is the best players possible bought by their club, and then you want the right atmosphere in the dressing room where they're all pushing each other to that next level, and there's competitiveness in training. That then manifests itself on the football pitch.
No, you want the best players competing.
Before this goes into another thing, Terry.
No football fan worth their salt. This nonsense of, but we can't buy another left-sided attacker because it will ruin Martial. That's not how real football fans think. That's how fanboys think when they're trying to defend a particular player. Saka's one of the best young right-sided attackers in world football. But if you guys had the chance tomorrow to sign Mo Salah, it was available for Arsenal. If Arsenal Football Club turned him down for the sake of Saka, you're not a serious football club. You can't do that. You know, if Saka's good enough, he'll rise to the top because you've got to aim for that level.
You have to compete.
Simple as that, my guy.
Does anybody here think that Cristiano Ronaldo would not want to play every game if he's available and fit?
But he's not going to be able to.
You know, he's 37. So whether he likes it or not, he can't play 50 games.
How many games would Darwin Nunez actually play?
You know what? Actually play at Manchester United.
Can't Cristiano play left and he plays striker?
If you're gonna guess, probably what 50. Because Ronaldo can't play 50 plus. You know why? But yes, because he can come off the bench. You're acting like if we start Ronaldo, he can never come off the bench and get minutes and get game time. We've got plenty of games to play in the Europa League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. We have plenty of games in the Premier League that he can come on or even start. And yes, like I say, Ronaldo's 37. He could get injured. I don't see how signing Nunez
Final point. I'll move on to the next thing. Final point is this: there's also 5 subs next year. Like there'll be enough game time. There really is.